What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and TV. Today, on episode 59 of the podcast, we are talking about the 1984 sci-fi classic, The Terminator. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, is the wonderful Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming.
Hello.
How we doing tonight?
Good.
I just can't get that.
I have words.
God damn, I love the fucking theme of this movie.
The theme is great. The theme
So
is
good.
fantastic, dude.
I just can't get my musical joke out of my head.
Is it related to anything we're about to talk about?
When I said we were watching Terminator the musical.
Oh, Terminator the musical. I was so confused. Even after I read the joke.
I'm just quitting, so it's
But
fine.
yeah, we are here talking about the Terminator as we start the Terminator franchise for the next 2 months.
Yeah, baby.
With a little bit of other movies sprinkled in between, because we got a special announcement to let you all know at the end of this episode. So strap in, because it's going to be a good one.
Pull up.
So the Terminator was released on October 26, 1984, directed by then really unknown James Cameron, the man who would eventually become one of the, when it comes to, money made in Hollywood, this man has just destroyed box office numbers left and right. Between Titanic and Avatar by themselves, this man doesn't need to do a damn thing for the rest of his life.
He's set.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm going to do those things. Then I'm going to take a little mini sub. I'm going to go to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Then I'm going to then I'm going to literally spend years of my life researching the Titanic, even after I'm done with the movie 25 years later or 20 years later. I mean, this man, if you look at his filmography, he really hasn't directed a lot of movies in his career. He doesn't have when you look at Steven Spielberg or other directors that I can't think of, Christopher Nolan, you look at guys like that, they have such a massive amount of movies that they've done it throughout their career. And yeah, James Cameron really wasn't around, or he came after Steven Spielberg, but he would make a movie and then it wouldn't be for another, at least in the 90s, it was Titanic. Then he didn't do a movie for 10 years. Then he did Avatar. And then he hasn't done anything since Avatar until the new Avatar that comes out this year. But he continues to blow out the box office. So why does he need to keep doing it? Back in the 80s, he wasn't that way. He did. So his first film that he ever directed was Piranha 2, The Spawning, which he was fired from.
Yes, he was.
And he went on a little vacation. Well, actually, he was over in Rome filming Piranha 2. And he had an idea. According to his own words, he felt like shit. And he was kind of having these weird dreams. And one of his dreams was literally the somewhat of the plot of the Terminator. About, the past meeting the future, but then the future going back to the past, and there being repercussions for it. And yeah, that's where you get the Terminator. It's a weird one, because even back then he knew if he couldn't make a movie about the future, because at least in his vision, because of the fact that he had such limitations on special effects and all that. So he's like, well, why don't I take the future and bring it back to the past? It sounds like a weird thing. It kind of sounds like a plot of another series that came out in the 80s called Back to the Future. But it didn't have murderous robots.
And
trying
I didn't
to kill
see a single
women.
DeLorean in this movie.
No, me either. But James Cameron would go on after the Terminator to go on to do Aliens, which is another. He also is infamous for just taking franchises and making the best sequels to the original films. A lot of people will state that Aliens is better than Alien, even though I don't agree.
Yes.
You have Terminator 2, which he did direct the original Terminator, so he just bested himself.
Yeah.
So are we looking at Avatar, whatever the hell the title is to this movie, being better than the 2009 Avatar, which just destroyed the box office?
Avatar 2, Waterworld. Wait.
Yes, it's pretty much what it is. Right? It looks great. I can't wait to see it. I'll be there.
I didn't watch the first one.
I don't know. I don't give two flipping shits.
So this movie had a very small budget of $6.4 million because when you have a director who was recently fired from his past job and you're giving him the keys to a new to have him bring his ideas to life, you're not going to give him that much money to do it with. So $6.4 million was the budget, even though it's pretty high if you think about it in the early 80s.
Then,
yeah. I mean, you look at the budgets for a lot of the horror films that were really Friday the 13th, for example. What I think the budget on that was $500,000. Halloween was like $350,000. Alien from 1979, I don't think had a very big budget either. So this actually was a lot of money for someone who really didn't have much foot in the door when it came to success. But it ended up grossing $78.3 million, which deemed it a success. And it goes down in history as one of the greats when it comes to science, to sci-fi. And after watching it yesterday, this movie's fucking great.
It is very good.
Very
movie.
good. Very
I
good. Concur.
Oh, so but Alien's budget was $11 million, so it's actually pretty high.
Okay, so Alien or Aliens?
Alien.
Oh, okay.
Keep talking. Make sure I didn't fuck up and put Alien.
I wasn't 100% sure. So yes,
11 Alien.
Okay. So it was directed by James Cameron. It was also written by James Cameron and Gail Ann Hurd, who James Cameron has a very long track record of working with people and then marrying them for a few years, and he gets divorced. So he was married to Gail Ann Hurd. They got married shortly after Aliens, something like that. Yeah. And they got divorced like 4 years later. He ended up marrying Linda Hamilton, who plays Sarah Connor. He was married to her for a little bit. They actually have a child together. So yeah, he loves getting together with the people he works with. He was with Catherine Bigelow too, who was a famous director who directed The Hurt Locker, won an Oscar back in mid 2000s. So yeah, this of course stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator himself. Michael Biehn playing Kyle Reese. Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor. So Arnold originally was supposed to be, when James Cameron approached him, he originally envisioned him to play Kyle Reese. He wanted him to be the hero. And after Arnold read the script, he said, "No, I want to be the Terminator. Like that's the cooler character when it comes to everything that's going on. I want to be that guy." And he ended up, and James Cameron's like, "This dude kind of scares me, so sure, we'll give it to you."
Go for it.
Michael Biehn, when he auditioned for Kyle Reese, he actually went in. So he was doing, I think it was Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. He was doing a play where he had to play something with a Southern drawl, and he went into his audition with that accent, and they didn't like it. They're like, "We don't want somebody who sounds too." What's the word for it? Like regionalized. Yeah, there you go. And so they were like, "Yeah, we'll look for someone else." Well, his agent had to call and be like, "Hey, that's not really what he sounds. That's not who he's just been doing this play for a while, and let him come back and do it again." And they're like, "Okay." And he came back and he killed it, and history is made. Brad Fidel, he's the one who did the music for this movie, and he came out with one of the greatest fucking themes in like cinema history. The funny thing is the theme of the movie is great, but the music to this movie sounds like a video game the whole time.
I was like, the theme's awesome. Like, what the fuck is with the rest of this music?
The score is so It sounds like I'm playing a video game the whole time.
Yeah.
Like early, I mean, of course, this is the time when Atari was a thing. You know, it was right. It was Atari was like 84, 85.
Atari
Or no, it was a little bit earlier than that.
Very late 70s, early 80s, and about 83 to 85 was like the dark ages after they kind of killed the video game
Right.
market in the United States. Yeah.
So the music just threw me off. The theme, though.
Me too. I know. You're like, dude, this is dope as fuck.
Good.
I'm like, what is this other clown ass music playing?
It's funny though, because it only happens during the like high octane action scenes that you get that really like digital video gamey sound. But like when it's like slow stuff, for instance, the sex scene in this movie, you get the theme music, but it's slowed down really seductively. I'm like, this kind of doesn't fit either.
Yeah, when Kyle Reese is freaking slaying pussy here, he's just like, it's like the slow music. Like, what's going on? It'd been really funny at the climax of the whole scene. It's like da 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 da, and then just
it's like
yeah, that's what does it. Yeah. Right when you nut, Kyle, we're gonna hit the heavy bass there.
Oh God, Jesus.
Yeah.
This movie was an hour and 47 minutes long. Perfect time.
Good run time.
Very good run time. Always something going on. Even on the very slow parts, it was still like, all right, we're going. We're moving. I like it. So a reason why this movie is filmed in such a way is that James Cameron had to do what's called guerrilla filming, where he had to film a lot of this movie without permits, or he just decided to do that. It wasn't that he was forced to. He just said, fuck it. I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to shoot things and then we're going to get the fuck out of there. So it was one of those things where he couldn't do 5, 6, 10 takes of a shot. You just had to go in there, get it, couple takes, and you just hoped to God it was good, and you had to move on because in LA, because they filmed a lot of this in LA, you have to get permits when you film in a city. When you're on a back lot or something, you don't need that because it's part of the studio. But when you're filming on a LA street where there's actually traffic and you got actual pedestrians, you need some permits. You need people, the city be like, okay, that's fine. So there's actually shots in this movie where there's actual, like, just regular civilians just walking through shots wondering what the fuck is going on.
Yep. Well, I mean, I've actually heard that's a very common practice for like small independent filmmakers.
Yeah.
Like, it's obviously not, you got to deal with the legal ramifications, but not everybody's got money to go around getting permits for everything. So I'm not advocating it. It's just what I've heard.
I mean, the thing of it is permits cost money. And if you're only, you have a limited budget, you kind of got to do what you got to do, I guess. He didn't get caught up until when he was shooting the last scene of the movie, which is the scene of Sarah driving away.
Oh, yeah.
He actually got caught shooting that without a permit. He got fined for it, so.
Last shot of the movie, too.
I know. Which probably wasn't even the flash shot of the entire thing.
No, probably not. They probably filmed it early on.
Yeah, exactly.
What about some of the other, like, the other cast members of this of note?
Lance Hendrickson?
Yep, Dick Miller.
Oh, Dick Miller, man. I was so happy to see him, and then I was so sad when it ended so quickly.
I know, I was like, he's dead. Oh. Like, I just knew it. I was like, he's fucking dead. And then, of course, our favorite... one of my personal favorites, Bill Paxton.
Oh yeah, and he's got a great line in this movie, which we'll say when we get to that scene. And I wrote it because I made sure to write it down because it's a very good line. But yeah, him and James Cameron, of course, would have a major relationship starting from the Terminator. From Terminator, Aliens. He was in Titanic. Probably in other things I can't remember at the moment. James Cameron's directed a bunch of stuff. He did True Lies, right? James Cameron?
Maybe. I don't know. Well, when you mentioned that, Lance Hendrickson, of course, went on to do Aliens right after this, too. So.
Right.
Because he was Bishop.
Yep.
Twister.
No, it wasn't.
Best
the
Bill Paxton
bottle
movie ever.
And the bottle never hit the ground.
The suck zone.
Yep. Yes, exactly.
Oh god, that movie's so good. We've talked about it on this show. So check that out. Okay. So yeah, the Terminator. What are our thoughts on the Terminator? Do you remember the first time you ever saw the movie? Okay.
No,
all right.
Really.
Well, tell us your thoughts then on what you thought of the Terminator.
I mean, I loved it. I mean, words.
You want me to go first?
They can be hard.
No. Yeah.
Sentences and syllables.
So I liked for the most part, I loved all the special effects, practical effects. There's a few special effects in here that are a little like
dodgy.
I'm like that's fake.
I wonder what you're talking about.
But then there was some moments where I had to look away at the eyeball. I was like,
oh yes,
yeah.
Like, I can do most gruesome things, but when you start putting things in your eyeballs, sharp things in your eyeballs, nah, I'm like, nope, can't do it. But yeah, I loved it. I mean, I don't know what more to say. Loved it.
I don't remember the first time I watched this movie. I want to say maybe it was airing on TV at some time when I was a kid. Like, I don't remember. I just remember so Arnold Schwarzenegger being very naked.
Very naked. More than I thought. More than I remember.
Special shout out to higher quality transfers and resolutions for that cameo of Arnold Schwarzenegger's penis in the beginning of the movie. So.
Man, that dong was.
We had to watch.
That dong
we had to watch it twice.
Around. You had that just
wait, what
slap going on?
You had to watch it twice. Did you need to see it again?
Yes,
no,
she did, but it's fine. No, we legitimately did, but that's not the reason why. We were watching this on Amazon.
Okay,
right? It was on Amazon, right? Yeah, because it was free on Amazon, but the audio was off. And you don't really notice because there's not a lot of talking until after his penis says hello. And then you're like, the audio is not synced. And that drives me nuts. Like, I cannot deal with that. Like, audio being off just drives me fucking nuts. So we found a version on YouTube. Video quality is not quite as good. But we had to watch that scene twice. But anyway, yeah, I don't remember. I always remember T2. Because T2, I remember from being a kid. I remember the action figures and stuff in the why they sold those to kids. I'll honestly beyond me for that fucking movie. We'll cover it when we get there. But yeah,
because they were toys. That's it.
Exactly,
because they were
marketability.
Toys. Right.
Marketability. No, I don't have memories of this movie much. Like I said, I may have seen a little bit of it, portions of it when I was a kid. I don't really recall, but seeing it this time was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it has some pretty good gore. I was thinking there was going to be more because I watched Evil Dead with my son a couple days before I watched this, which is 3 years older. Massively. Both have great effects, but I would say this movie has really, really good effects outside of specific one she mentioned, and we'll talk about when we get there. It's kind of, back then the video quality wasn't as good, so maybe you didn't notice as much. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't look that great, but most of the rest of it's fantastic. I think they did a good job for what they show. I feel the movie flows great. Like, it doesn't tell you shit about the beginning. All stuff's happening. You don't know what you don't know who she needs to trust or whatever, and it's good stuff. Like,
all the naked men.
Yeah, I like the characters. The characters I felt are good. I don't think anybody's like particularly like, oh, they're fantastic. But for the movie, I thought everything was good. No real big issues. Yeah, I just thought it flowed good. It felt good. It was a good watch. It's a good movie. I recommend it if you hadn't seen it before. So I don't know what else to say other than that. Cool guns. There's a Pinto in it. There's some cool older cars. I was pointing it out. She's like, "You're gonna remember all those?" I'm like, no. But
Gremlin.
Cool. Yeah, they had a Gremlin.
Was the one when they drive to the bridge, right? Under the bridge.
And then there's another Gremlin later, and there's a Pinto they show, and then he drove a big old LTD, like a mid-70s LTD. Reese did. It's the one he stole. At the beginning of the movie.
He stole every car they drove, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, Schwarzenegger stole that, like, Caprice wagon in the beginning, too. So, anyway, enough of that. I'm just saying, I noticed it. So,
I mean, I don't remember the exact time that I watched this for the first time, but I do remember probably renting this with my dad and just being blown away at how awesome it was. Like the effects and how cool Arnold Schwarzenegger was, and the dude was scary as hell. Because I think this was probably the first thing I ever saw him in.
He did a couple movies before this.
No. The first thing I ever watched with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. But I know he had done stuff beforehand. Yeah,
I was just thinking out loud. I'm sorry.
I mean, he was Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And he actually released Conan the Destroyer the same year that this came out, because actually this movie was delayed. The production was delayed because of the fact that he was filming Conan the Destroyer at the same time. So
yeah, what are you going to do? Tell Schwarzenegger no? Like, you're a big star. Like, no, you can't.
Sure, Mr. Schwarzenegger. Whatever you say. The performances are really good. Linda Hamilton, I think, knocks it out of the park. Michael Biehn he does a good job of watching it like this last time. It just, some of the scenes just seem like he's going way too hard. Okay, and I'm not even talking about like the police station scene where he's trying to explain who he is to the psychiatrist. It's more of just like, sometimes he's just kind of going over where he needs to be. It's like, relax. We understand the plot here. We know what's going on.
Well, this is why whenever people think of Terminator, they remember, Little Hamilton and Sylvester Stallone. Good God, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know, but they never remember Michael Biehn, was that his name?
Yeah.
Then not saying he's a bad actor, but I guess he just doesn't stand out enough. Maybe you think that's the problem.
I always remembered Michael Biehn because I thought I like the character of Kyle Reese, and I thought he did a good job with the role. But like I said, it just was, it was the 80s, and this is a very, like we were talking about before, it's very, James Cameron has always been infamous for being kind of hard to work with.
Oh, has he? Okay, I didn't know
that. Because he's when he has an idea, that idea is what's going to be on screen. There's no kind of going off track with him. It's kind of like, this is what we're doing. We're going to get it done.
Okay.
And so it's always been stories that I've heard from, starting with Aliens mostly up until even, with Avatar. But I mean, the dude makes blockbusters, as long as he's not torturing his cast or, putting them through shit that they don't want to, or hurting them or whatever, then, you do what you do. You do what you do to produce the pieces that people are clearly wanting to see.
Well, yeah, I can respect not wanting to compromise your vision.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this movie was always a favorite of mine. Of course, T2 was the one I chose over this one all the time, just because of where the direction that the franchise went. 7 years is a long time between movies.
Yeah.
So it was a long time for James to kind of sit down and reinvent what he envisioned for this franchise. And then once T2 like soared into the stratosphere, then of course it was like, well, we're going to do about 5 more movies. And we're like, yay. I hope Terminator 3 is good, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
The effects.
Talk about another big time gap.
Yeah. The effects are good and bad. Of course, some of the effects, like Angela was talking about, are just, they're a little wonky, and you could clearly tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. The effects of the Terminator itself, when it's not Arnold Schwarzenegger, fucking awesome. I love the straight up.
Oh yeah.
What is it? He's a T100?
He's the T800.
T800. So yeah, he's really, I just love the Stan Winston, of course, did the effects. And I mean, Stan Winston just rocks.
Do you know when you just look at something and you're like, that shit, like, you just look at something, you're like, that's iconic.
Yeah.
That's just, I don't know. You just wonder, like, who's like sitting down, like, this is what we're going to do for Terminator. Then they show it, you're like, that shit's going to stick.
So cool.
It's so nuts, dude.
So a weird fact about this movie that I read about was that Sarah Connor in this movie is only supposed to be 18 years old.
Is she?
So, and this is based on Terminator 2, because I think John is, oh man, he's 11, I think, in Terminator 2, or 12, something like that. It's based on the math of her age when she had John. She was supposedly, because she was pregnant at the end of this movie, and he's like 10 or 11, and so it would have made her 29 in Terminator 2, which would have made her 18 in Terminator 1. She doesn't look 18.
No, not at all.
He was 28.
Linda Hamilton herself, yeah.
Yeah, in the movie. Like she didn't look.
No, she looked like at least should have been mid-20s, late 20s. Her character should have been. I had no idea she was supposed to be 18.
So yeah, it was based on somebody who did the math on the ages of when she had John and how old John was in Terminator 2. So, alrighty. Weird fact, but I figured I'd throw it in there.
Hey, it's good. I didn't know. They don't ever mention. Well, you don't even hear her name right away until later they say it, but she punches in with a time card. That's when you see her name. Like,
you learn.
I kind of like that, to be honest.
You learn Reese's name like halfway through the movie.
But that's cool, though. I like how they handle that, I think.
But it's really hard to take. It's really hard to take notes when I have to write "second naked man" 500 times because I don't know his name.
Second naked man.
Wait, did you not know his name was Kyle Reese before seeing this movie?
No.
Really?
You know how long it's been since I've seen this movie?
Have you not seen the other Terminator movies?
No.
Oh, all right.
Have you not seen T2?
I've not seen it all the way through. Like there's certain scenes. I was talking to him. I was like, "What movie was it with the?" I don't even know how I explained it to you.
The metal guy, the liquid metal guy.
Yeah,
that's T-1000. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. But no, I didn't. I didn't know his name.
Kyle Reese shows up in, I think, 3 Terminator movies. Like the character.
He's mentioned in the later ones, isn't he?
Well, yeah, because I mean he's John's father. So
yeah.
And I just wrote Arnold down.
Dude, you fucking spoiled it. Arnold. Come on.
That's the whole point of the show. We spoil the shit out of movies. If you're upset I just spoiled that, then sorry, you probably should have listened to 58 other shows that we've done.
Right? This isn't a Fresh Cuts, damn it.
Yeah, where we spoil movies there too.
Just all the spoilers.
So, you think there's going to be a war against the machines in 7 years?
Probably not in 7 years. However,
that's when this movie says so.
Okay, well, fuck this movie. But I will say, in like real.
I mean, we were already supposed to have hover skateboards.
I just want to point out she's wearing a fucking Jetson shirt in this movie at one point. I just want to point that out. I saw that. Just letting y'all know. But anyway, the concerns about AI, I believe, are real. Like, I think those are very well-founded concerns about artificial intelligence.
I've heard things about robots.
You see what the Keurig does.
No, but did you not hear about the robot that they made that became a citizen of whatever country it was from?
No, I'm good. Listen, I'm not saying everything's going to turn to a fucking movie, but there are concerns on how you make artificial intelligence. All right,
Skynet's scary. All right,
very much so.
I think the reason I didn't see T2 all the way through is because it scared the shit out of me. I'm like, is this shit really going to happen?
Maybe
it could.
Like, I don't want to get chased by a killer robot.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is that when Kyle's talking to the cop or to the psychiatrist, when he's explaining who he is, he explains the years that he's been active. Mm-hmm. And he said 2021, or he said 21 to 27, I think it was. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, right?
We're in that time.
It's happening now.
Oh, please, God, no. We don't need it. All right. Well, are you guys ready to dive into this plot?
Let's go.
Do it.
Let's do this thing. Dun, 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 dun. The coolest fucking opening of this movie with the title card is so cool. Where it just has all the names, but it's all just the letters just intersecting with each other until it gets to the very end. And it's just like boom. And you're like, this fucking score is awesome. And then you keep watching the movie and you're like, what happened to the score?
I know, right?
Go.
It'd be funny if every song. Oh, go ahead.
It's LA 2029 and there's war. There's tanks running over skulls, which is a really cool shot because it's all done in miniatures.
You find out it's actually just Chicago, like right now. I'm just kidding. It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
I would have said Detroit, but
that works too. Anyway, yeah, the tank.
Sorry, people from Detroit.
Yeah.
The machines rose from the ashes of nuclear war, and they have taken over the earth.
I like the little story they give us at the beginning.
Yeah. Did you? I skimmed it. Yeah.
It's pretty much, you summed it up.
Yeah.
There's a nuclear war. The machines are kicking the humans' asses.
So we get. We got to stop doing that. We're both about to say something at the same fucking time. No, go ahead.
Stop it.
I was just going to make a joke, so you're fine.
Start raising.
Just care.
Badass score over title card with that great Terminator theme that we hear a lot, even during the sexy time scene. Then we flash back to LA, 1984. Garbage Day!
Yes!
Why is this guy picking up garbage so late at night? It's a really late garbage time.
The city that never sleeps.
The ADR for this is really bad. So you can hear the guy going, whoa, what's going on? But it sounds like it's not coming from him at all. It's like it's coming from somewhere else. And then it repeats the same line again when it cuts out to the outside of the truck. What's going on? As the electricity is like, it's a really cool effect though, or it's like filling up the sky with the electricity, and boom, naked Arnold.
This the first time I watched it.
Yeah. And he gets up.
How can you not remember Naked Man?
Oh, I mean, and then he walks away from the camera and it's just like, damn, Arnold, you doing some glute exercises right there, bud.
I know, right?
That's an ass right there, boy.
he was Mr. Universe, so I mean.
Yeah. He wasn't the only Mr. Universe in this movie, by the way.
He was not. Yes, he was not. I saw that.
He had to have a booty.
He looks over the city and you realize, I don't think this is green screen.
Yeah, it actually looked good.
Or E.T.
Yeah, E.T.
That one shot at the beginning of the movie.
Come on, Steven, what happened?
You're never going to live down that
Terminator
scene,
do it better. It had like half the budget. We then see Bill Paxton and his goons or cronies. They try messing with him. I love Bill Paxton's hairstyle. He's got the blue spikes going on. But the line that he delivers when Arnold is just kind of staring at him and he's just like, this man's a couple short of a six-pack.
Yep.
Such a great line.
Great line.
And he then goes, clothes. I need your clothes. And they're like, yeah, okay. And they all like whip out knives. And then he just starts tossing them. And man, he just shoves his fist through this man's body, raises him up in the air, and then pulls it out. And you're like, this is how this shit is starting right now? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Well, he does get stabbed too, because it shows
it shows him.
Arnold gets stabbed, and he's just takes it, obviously.
Yep.
Gives this fucker a show Ryuken.
And then you got the one guy who you think is like going to get back into the fight, but he just ends up taking off his clothes. He's like, here, take it, man. I don't want to mess with you.
I mean, I would.
Oh, absolutely. I would have seen this man walking up and been like, I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with this guy. So we get another lightning show, kind of in the city, in an alleyway, a very dirty alleyway, by the way. And it's this is just a regular guy because he enters into this space a little frazzled. Arnold is like badass superhero pose, rises up and goes, and then you have Kyle just like, oh God, that was the worst trip of my life.
I just had a moment.
You just had a moment.
Arnold. I just had a moment. So Arnold, So he doesn't actually use his legs to lift him up. He uses Go-Go Gadget penis. It's like a jack. It's like
oh, we forgot to mention that. He's walking towards the camera, and boy, you see little Arnold just swinging in the breeze. He's just like, I'm here too, guys.
And I read into this because I was like, what is in this movie before I turn it on and watch it with, kids
with your
around
kids
or whatever.
present? Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, they ended up going with my aunt, our sister-in-law, their aunt, to go do something. But they're like, due to higher definition. Yes, due to higher definition, excuse me, you can see Arnold's penis. I'm like, I'm glad they're not here, so I don't have to explain this.
Yeah, because I don't remember as a kid seeing this scene. I mean, I watched it, the first time you see it is on VHS. You don't see it.
Yeah.
You don't see it at all.
I just assumed, it's going to be man ass. I remember seeing the part where he comes in, there's man ass. It's whatever, no big thing.
When we're talking about this right now, we're not saying there's anything wrong with a little dong on the screen.
No, it's fair. It's fair. It should be.
But yeah, it just was it was one of those things like, oh shit, I just saw Arnold Schwarzenegger's dick.
It makes sense in the context of the film. He's not being naked to be naked. There's a point behind it.
Yeah. I mean, Kyle has to explain it later to Sarah about, that they have to come naked. Oh no, he explains this to the psychiatrist about how he has to come use the time travel thing naked or whatever.
Inorganic matter won't transport through.
Right. So yeah, we meet Kyle Reese, which you don't really figure out his full name until later in the movie, but we all know it's Kyle Reese. And he robs a homeless guy in the most casual way possible, too.
That man took my pants.
That's the thing is Kyle's putting on his pants so casually. He didn't I feel like the guy just gave him the pants. And then once the cop came over, the homeless guy's like, he took my pants. And then and Kyle runs away.
The homeless guy's trying to take the heat off him. He clearly did something he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah. The sound design as he's running through the store is so off. It's you can hear him breathing really hard, but it doesn't sound it sounds like he's in a booth going, but it's not coming from the character himself in the movie. You're just where is this coming from? I was looking around my house, is someone breathing behind me? What's happening?
Yeah.
We were talking about this morning. I was like, again, it's been a long time since I have seen this movie. And I was like, I do not remember this opening, with essentially a chase through a clothing store. I do not remember any of this.
Don't worry. Go ahead.
He's very silent.
Yeah, he's very light-footed when he's running around.
When he runs up the escalator.
Yeah.
You hear nothing.
He's got them fucking Nikes on.
Oh yeah, they got to show that product placement. Nikes.
Yeah.
He's got those Velcro strap ones that strap across the top.
Yeah.
But he's he jumps down and you don't hear him land. It's like
a ninja.
Okay.
This is Spider-Man without the powers.
Yeah.
This won't, and trust me, as I say this, and I won't spoil it. This won't be the last Terminator movie to have a chase scene through a clothing store. Probably the same fucking clothing store too, by the way.
Probably.
You got to get them Nikes. He steals a shotgun from the cop car because clearly cops leave their shotgun in their car not locked and the car's not locked. But I guess it's 1984 in L.A. What?
It was a different time. There's no centralized. There's no centralized locking. I'm just gonna take it out of this little Plymouth Fury. Thanks, guys.
No problem. And you got to find Sarah Connor. We meet Sarah Connor as she's riding on her moped, looking good. Linda Hamilton. She was a pretty lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's late for work again at the diner that I think was the same diner that was held up in Pulp Fiction. It's pretty much the same. And the Terminator in the next scene, he steals a station wagon by literally tearing the fucking thing apart just to get to the mechanism to turn it on.
Yeah.
Just with ease.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
This was the early 80s. They didn't have a lot of that electronic bullshit on there.
Right. Yeah. It was a lot easier to hotwire a car.
Yep.
Sarah's not having a good day at work. She's messing up orders. She doesn't know whose food is whose. And then some dick of a kid puts a scoop of ice cream in her pocket. And I would have, and she just casually looks at the kid. I would have turned to him and been like, you little shit.
Like,
just tosses him out the fucking doors.
Why would you waste ice cream, though?
I know.
Yeah, what's wrong with this kid?
Kids suck. I'm sorry.
Right? Movie kids suck.
Sure.
Your kids watch this in a few years, like, Dad.
It's all with love. The Terminator.
Absolutely.
The Terminator visits Dick Miller at the gun shop, and man, he knows a lot about guns, and Dick Miller's impressed. He's like, you know your stuff. But the Terminator isn't all about this waiting game, but he's like, that's going to be 15-day waiting to get that. The pistol you can get a little bit sooner, and he's just like, nope.
Welcome to California.
Yeah, fucking loads up the shotgun. He's like, you can't do that. And he's like, yes, I can, and just blows him away. But you don't see it. You just see it from the point of view of the Terminator. But Dick Miller.
I was a little upset that was cut. I was a little upset. I was kind of like, wanted to see Dick Miller get blasted.
Gone too soon, Dick Miller. R.I.P.
Yeah. I want to be shot with a SPAS.
Sure.
That thing's got some.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing's got some power. Kyle modifies his setup. He saws off the end of the shotgun he steals from the cop car. He kind of modifies it so it like fits inside of his trench coat.
Yeah, like a loop that goes to his shoulder.
Yeah.
That he can wear along with that trench coat. It's a clever idea.
Yeah. The Terminator goes hunting for Sarah Connor. He literally does. Well, Kyle at first does it where he finds a few of the names in the phone book. He rips that page out, but then the Terminator does the same thing. And I love it when he rips the guy out of the phone booth. The guy's like, man, you got a real attitude problem.
Yeah, I know. I thought like he was fixing to like fuck this boy up, you know, like
he was just gonna like rip his fucking head off and throw it.
Yeah.
And
beat him to death with it.
Yep. And he also locates the same names and addresses. So it's time to go hunting.
Hunting season.
Mm-hmm. So he goes hunting in the first house he shows up to, which is great. He pulls up and goes up to the door, knocks on it, and of course the woman's like, yes. And he's like, Sarah Connor, yes. And then I love the slow-mo like break in where he pushes her and she's just like in absolute shock. And then he pew pew. Oh yeah, that's right. The gun with the laser sight.
It's looks like go ahead.
Is it a Ruger?
It may. I don't know specifically. I don't think it's a Ruger unless Ruger made these. It's a 1911. I just don't know who produced it. I don't know if it's a Colt, Ruger, whatever. Tons of people make 1911. But it's a long barrel 1911.
Right. I was trying to remember what Dick Miller said because I think he said Ruger. And it's like, this is the newest one that we've gotten where it's got the laser sight. Anything that you point at, you're going to hit.
Anything you point at, you bang. Oh, sorry. Different movie.
Wrong movie. That's a movie. That's a movie.
That's a spicy meatball.
Oh, man. But this isn't the right Sarah Connor there, big guy. Sarah watches watches it all in the news. This is really fast, by the way. Like, what was the time frame between this woman getting killed and Sarah, the actual Sarah Connor that we're following, finding out on the news that a woman named Sarah Connor died? It was very fast. And her friend, literally, who works with her, is just like, you're dead.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Kyle
Oh,
is...
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, backwards. It is. It's not a Ruger. It's a AMT hardballer long slide. So it's a 45 with a long slide on it. But he does mention Ruger. Ruger is mentioned, like Ruger Security 6s and stuff. So
yeah,
probably sometime in that conversation, Ruger's mentioned, and it's on the outside of the gun store.
So Kyle is kind of chilling next to a construction site, which is probably a poor place to hide out when you're having like PTSD when you're looking at the construction equipment. You're like, oh, Terminators. And you're like, what are you doing there?
That's what it is.
Well, actually, he goes there to steal the car because that's where the car was that he takes.
Yeah, and that's what it's like. It's like that's moving the track, like the tractor from like the digger or whatever the hell it is. Yeah. Was that the hunter killer? The ones with the tracks? It's a cool splice because it's like modern day, our time,
and then the skulls.
Our time. And then it cuts like in one shot. It's kind of neat how it does that.
And so he has a flashback of the war. You got the I guess these are the hunter killers. Or no, I think the hunter killers are the things that are flying around.
Maybe I always thought the ones on the ground. No, I'm gonna look. We'll find out.
Yeah,
it might be important.
We'll figure all this lore out for you, everybody. You probably already know, but we're gonna tell you again. So they're trying to take down the tank Terminator, as I called it in my notes. And man, this girl gets evaporated. The one girl in this whole squad, she goes to throw the grenade out there and just gets evaporated. Just like, whoa.
Okay, so we're both right. Because the tanks, the ones with the treads are hunter killer tanks, and then the ones in the sky are hunter killer aerial. So they're both hunter killers.
Right.
Yeah.
Was this the same scene where it shows him throw the grenade under the tank Terminator and it takes the tracks out?
Yeah, because that's during the scene where he's like throws it, and then the other girl steps out to throw the other one, and then that's when she gets blasted.
Yeah. So the next scene is when they're at Sarah's apartment, and her roommate Ginger is obsessed with her Walkman or whatever tape player she's using, but she will not take it off. She doesn't even take it off when she's getting boned. All right. She loves it. She's obsessed. And her boyfriend Matt calls, and Sarah picks up, and he starts like having some phone sexy time with her, and she's having a good time. She's laughing and stuff. And I love the flip where she's like, "Hey, Matt," and he's like, "Oh, Sarah. Oh, sorry."
Yeah. Oh God.
Who is this?
Yeah.
Then he doesn't she hand the phone off to her Ginger or whatever, and he like without missing a beat, he picks back up.
Yeah. We then meet our two main cops. We got Traxler, played by Paul Winfield, and Vukovic, which is Lance Hendrickson's character's name. Didn't know that.
Gets shit on this whole movie.
Yeah, his boss is a major dick to him. And they notice that the last two murders, so another woman was killed off screen. You didn't see this kill, but it was two girls that were murdered that were both named Sarah Connor.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, "Oh shit, we probably should call all the other Sarah Connors and get them, some protection." But they can't get a hold of the right Sarah. So this is when Sarah and Ginger are getting ready to go out on a double date, and Sarah's date he's busy, so he can't come. The guy on the answering machine is James Cameron, the one who stands her up. Dan is dying currently, everybody. He is. We might need to get him some help.
Yeah, I know, right?
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
He says. So Sarah gets stood up. James Cameron's the guy on the answering machine.
What a piece of shit. I can't believe they let her make this movie.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. You don't stand up Linda Hamilton.
Absolutely not.
Especially with that hair. Damn. She decides she's going to go to the movies, and Ginger and her boyfriend are just going to stay back and hang out at the house, mostly bang it out.
Yep.
Kyle follows her, and she gets a little weirded out as she's like walking down the street. She's like, "This dude's following me. I'm going to sneak into this club." It's like called like Neon Noir or something like that. I think that's the club name. Tech Noir. And so the immediate thing was that she needs to find a phone because she's going to call the police. And the police are trying to contact her, but no one can hear it because Ginger's literally listening to her tape deck as she's having sex. So, all right. And she's not even I feel like she's not even enjoying the sex. She's enjoying what she's listening to right now because she's just jamming. And he's just like, yeah.
He's sweating it up.
The sex scene from the movie where the girl is dancing on top.
Oh, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, part 6.
That's exactly
the one that didn't have nudity in it.
Yep.
So she's all weirded out. She goes in, she asks about a phone, and they're like, "Hey, hey, you still got to pay to go in there. $4.50. You're like $4.50 to get into a club. Damn.
Probably what a shit ass cover charge.
What is that? Do you think it's more? I mean, it's got to be more now if you go into a club. I don't know.
I've never been in one. I don't even know.
So she calls the cops. Well, actually, no. We go back to the police station, and the press are being annoying, asking a bunch of dumb questions. And the cops try to get a hold of the right Sarah, but there's no luck. But Sarah ends up calling them after she sees the news that there were 2 women killed by the name of Sarah Connor. Yeah. She's like, oh no. And she calls the cops, and they're like, all right, so what we need you to do is we need you to chill out. Don't move. And if you see anybody conspicuous, just hold tight. You're good as long as you're in a public place. She's like, okay. Yeah. So she goes and sits down at a table. She notices Kyle in the mirror, but she doesn't see, Arnold, who literally walks through the front doors and just tosses the freaking bouncer like he was nothing.
Hey, that guy didn't pay. He's like,
he's like, get out of my way. And then everybody's like, I say it's fine.
Yeah. Don't say nothing and keep dancing.
The funniest thing is before she gets a hold of I think after, oh no, she's not at this club yet. I am throwing the facts all around. She goes to a bar. That's where she notices the thing on the TV.
Yes, you're right.
So she goes to try to use the payphone, and the payphone don't work. And you have this creepy motherfucker standing behind her, just eyeing her the whole time.
That's what I said. I was like, what's this dude's problem?
Yeah, what is going on here? Sorry about that, everybody. I was mixing my locations around here, but we're back on track.
Cringe.
Yeah, he was weird. I was waiting for him to follow her out of the bar when she left. I was like, this is going to be an uncomfortable situation. So Sarah leaves, and she notices Kyle, and she heads to the club. So here we go. We're back on the track here. Maybe I'll edit that out. Maybe I won't. I don't care. The Terminator goes to Sarah's apartment, and Ginger's still rocking out. She can't hear shit because the Terminator goes through the sliding door and just, hey, what the fuck, man? And he just gets in, and Matt just gets tossed all over this room.
She's making. Oh, go ahead.
What kind of sandwich was she making?
It looks fucking delicious.
It looks so good.
It's like a Dagwood style sandwich. Everybody gets that reference.
That looked delicious.
And celery with peanut butter on it.
All right, I respect it, but I don't. But I would rather have cream cheese.
Yes. Well, I don't want celery at all.
Celery with cream cheese is delicious.
Well, Ginger, I don't know why she put it on there. She just got plenty of cream cheese from her boyfriend. So carry on.
Yeah, but that wasn't in her. Oh, well, it could have been in her mouth.
Yes, that worked out perfectly.
So she's making the sandwich. Her boyfriend's getting tossed around upstairs, and she walks back to the room, and that's when Matt's body just gets thrown through the door, and she's just like, oh shit, and she tries to run, and the Terminator shoots her in the back, and it's a really dramatic fall where she like dives forward when she gets shot.
Yeah.
And then he walks up to her and puts like 7 more rounds into her.
Yeah, like, why did he shoot so many times?
Being thorough.
And
I'm pretty sure a couple would do.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure that she was eliminated. This was the worst timing of all time because Sarah calls the apartment and leaves a message on the answering machine of where exactly she is. Yeah. As the Terminator is done killing Ginger, you're like, you could have called 5 minutes after.
It's not the first time she does this in this movie.
This is poor time. Oh yeah, that's we'll get to that.
Oh, hold on. We got to mention something else before we completely move on from this scene. A special shout out to Pugsley.
Oh yes.
The awesome iguana. You just got to point this out. They like tried to eat her face the first time she tried to love on it. It's like, like Pugsley, you're a beast.
And then knocks over the food on the
honey grams and shit on top of the fridge.
Yeah. I'm going to turn you into a wallet or something like that. Oh, no, she said, I'm going to turn you into a belt.
Yes.
So the Terminator now knows where Sarah is and what she looks like because he finds like an ID in a drawer.
Yeah, finds her ID. Yep.
Sarah finally gets... Yeah, seriously. What the hell? in a random drawer in the living room. Not even like her bedroom.
No.
Sarah finally gets a hold of the cops, and that's when they tell her to stay put and all that jazz, like I stated before. The Terminator gets to the club really fucking fast. How close does she live to this club? It can't be that far, right? But she did start off with her moped and then walked. But still, how far does she live from this club? Because he gets there quick. Like, quick.
Very
and he
quick.
tosses that bouncer out of the way. Everybody's just like, sure, dude, walk right in. No one blinks an eye. And no one else in this club blinks an eye to this dude just tossing the bouncer.
Yeah, and he's just like, it's California.
Yeah. He's just about to take her out, and Kyle saves the day. I love the dance moves as everybody's dancing, and the Terminator's just, like, going in between them all.
I just want to know, like, here's the thing. I know it's for dramatic effect in the film, because he, like, whips back the trench coat, pulls a shotgun, fucking racks that shit. And I was like, why didn't you have it loaded to begin with? If he knew what he was coming here for, like, his intentions, like I would have one in the tube, dude. I'd just be ready to go, pa, you know? But anyway, it looked cool, but I'm just saying.
So Kyle shoots the Terminator before he can shoot Sarah. And these are really dramatic, like, shots. Like, he shoots him twice, it blows him back. He gets up. He starts using the Uzi he bought, or he stole. He just starts wasting the whole place. Well, there's really not a lot of victims, though, in here. There's not.
No,
I think there was maybe one person who gets shot, and that's the one who is behind Sarah as she's trying to run out.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was I liked that. I felt like it wasn't necessary for it to be just because the Terminator is there to get Sarah. He's not there to kill everyone else. And the only reason he's shooting at Kyle is because Kyle's shooting at him.
Yeah.
So the fact, like, he just didn't walk in and just start shooting, innocent people.
That whole situation with the person getting shot, technically behind Sarah, gets shot and then, like, kind of falls over under her.
Yeah,
it's totally plausible since the 9mm would be, the Uzi used that would be chambered in 9mm to hit, like, center or back. So the round would not go through the victim more than likely. It would hit the person. They would fall over. So you don't have to worry about over penetration. So very plausible.
So Sarah's pinned underneath this body, and the Terminator comes up to kind of finish his job, and Kyle puts a few more rounds into him and knocks him out the front of the building.
Yeah.
And that's where you get the line where he goes up to Sarah and he goes, "Come with me if you want to live."
Yes.
And it's time to run. So they run really fast, and you get the really slow run by Arnold Schwarzenegger as he's trying to run as robotic as possible.
Yeah. And he's just like,
yeah.
And they're just like,
yeah.
Fuck.
Kyle then turns around. He starts shooting at a car to cause it to blow up.
Sure.
Which was a cool effect, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it plausible?
Looks cool.
Yeah, sure.
No. Yeah. Not very, but sure.
So they hop into a car. He starts driving backwards. The Terminator jumps onto the hood and just one punches through the windshield to grab her. And as he whips out of the alleyway, the Terminator kind of flies off of the car. And I love when he dramatically gets, because like a cop shows up and the cop's trying to call it in, and he gets up and he's all smoky.
Yeah.
He just he's like, hey, sit down. And he just takes the cop and just tosses him like a Burger King wrapper.
Get out of here, bitch.
Gets in the car and gets out of there. We get a high-speed LA chase. Sarah is absolutely terrified. She could give a flying fuck what this man is saying to her. She is scared. He's like, I'm Kyle Reese, 137 something, blah, blah. He's explaining who he is, but she's just like, being kidnapped. Yeah. And she's just really scared, which is understandable.
Good. Yeah, exactly.
He pretty much explains who he is and that he is there to protect her. Why? We won't know that yet until later on in the movie. The Terminator can manipulate his voice, which is a pretty cool little feature he's got, where he calls into because he hears a call about the car that they're driving, and so he answers in the cop that he takes the car from. uses his voice to answer.
Pretty cool that he can replicate voices. I always thought that was a neat little touch.
So this is when Kyle goes into more of an explanation about what the Terminator is, that he is a cyborg that was sent to kill her because of things that she is connected to in the future. She's like, what? You're a crazy man. You kidnapped me. And they're like, yeah. And he's explaining what model he is, and that there were models that didn't look very human, but now like they were easy to detect, and now they are not so easily detectable because they have skin, blood, muscle, everything a human has, but empathy, feelings, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what are you talking about? I'm terrified.
This just sounds like drug speak. Is this drug speak?
Are you a homeless man high on drugs? Possibly.
No, but I stole his pants earlier.
Yep.
Yeah. The Terminator is coming so fast. And this is when they're in the parking garage, and all the cars are kind of like, all the cop cars are searching for them, and the Terminator hears the call, so he zooms there. Kyle tells Sarah the history of what's going on. Kyle was born after Judgment Day, and he, was pretty much lived in the slums. Like, he pretty much lived in garbage and stuff like that until a man named John Connor saved him and brought him to the cause to help stop the machines from taking over the world. And yeah, you're John Connor's mother. And she's like, what the fuck is going on? And
I just went out to watch a fucking movie.
Yeah. So the Terminator finds them in the parking garage, starts shooting at them. We get a cool high-speed chase. This is probably the coolest chase of the film. Because the Terminator chases them to the just through the streets, and Kyle's hanging out the side of the car. He's blasting with the shotgun. The Terminator is somehow not hitting him with the gun he's using. And they're like driving towards a wall. It's just a dead end of this road. And they avoid it, but the Terminator just keeps going and smokes this wall. And I love the dummy inside the car when it hits the wall.
Ooh, I'm like, yes.
Like, sweet. This is so cool. And after this, all the cops come. Kyle wants to fight, but Sarah's like, they'll kill you. So you don't do that. So they're like, all right, whatever. So he gets arrested. Sarah gets taken in because, of course, they think that she was kidnapped. She finds out her friend's dead, so she's very sad.
Yeah.
Very, very sad. And she even goes, are you sure? And like, yeah, we're 100% sure.
Sure.
So they ask her if she wants to talk to a psychiatrist, and it's this really, his name is Earl Bowen. He plays Silberman.
Yeah.
And he's like half asleep, and he's like, yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, sure, let's do this. And her first question is Reese crazy? And he's like, we're gonna find out. So the cops at the scene of the crash, they go to the car, and the Terminator's not there. There's no one there. So the next time we see the Terminator, he is at a room where he's got to fix himself up. We then come back to Reese explaining who he is to the psychiatrist, and pretty much explaining that when they used a device that, like Skynet used a device that sent the Terminator to the past to kill Sarah Connor. So Kyle volunteered to be sent back too, but they ended up destroying that device, meaning Kyle and the Terminator can't go back to the future.
Yep. There it is. There's our reference.
So there's no going home for Kyle. It's either he fails or he succeeds in this mission, or he fails, and there's
one-way street.
Yep. That's it.
And he also doesn't he elaborate about how they managed to send him through? Because they talk about no only organic matter can go through, but the only reason the T-800 could is because he's organic on the outside.
Yeah.
That's why he could go through. So, which I thought was a cool way of explaining it.
So the Terminator does some surgery. This is where you get the really wonky effects of. They show a side view of him taking out his eye. You don't get to see it. You just see like him remove his eye. But then when he puts it in the sink, he looks into the mirror, and boy, oh boy, it's an odd looking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, he's very pasty. Yep. Looks like he's made out of Play-Doh, and he's about to melt.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and I think the funniest thing is that they show this effect of because I feel the whole thing is because he has the cyborg eye, like the red eye there. But there's a scene later in this movie where it's actually Arnold's face with the cyborg eye. And I'm like, why didn't they just do that for this scene?
Exactly.
Like, it wasn't like he was cutting into himself. I mean, they did show, the scene they show right before he does the eye surgery is him cutting open his arm. And then he like messes with the mechanisms to kind of fuck with his hand. And his hand looks really weird too. It's really chunky.
Like it's all like moving,
very chunky.
Like, why does it keep moving?
I will say the effect of him like using the hobby knife and actually cutting into his forearm looked really good. Like the actual like slicing through his skin to the forearm, that's very convincing. And we brought up, we thought that the blood that they use, the actual blood they use, may have acted like a lubricant.
Oh,
yeah.
For some of the metal, it's a thought. It may not be the case, but since it's real blood,
it makes sense. It's not like
they could have altered it. Yeah, excuse me. You could have some the way they altered it to make it act as lubricant as well, but still be non-synthetic.
Right. So he throws the shades on because he doesn't have an eye to replace the one he took out, so he's got to wear some shades so he can still pull off being a human. And it's time to hunt as he throws open the mattress and he's just got guns laying on there, loads himself up. He's got the cool black leather jacket now. He's ready to go. These cops are enjoying the hell out of the Kyle Reese show as he is just spewing off all of this stuff about everything. And they're all just like, this dude is certifiably insane. And as all that is going down, the cops decide, hey, Sarah, you should stay here. It's, you need some rest. Take a nap on this really comfy couch.
Yeah.
And as she goes to sleep, the Terminator walks into this police station. Right as Silberman leaves.
Yep.
So will we see him in sequels? You'll have to wait and see. So the Terminator walks in, he goes up, and the way he asked the questions they weren't very robotic. He was just like, I am a friend of Sarah Connor's. Is Sarah Connor here? And they're like, yeah, she's in for questioning. He's like, oh, I just want to see her. And he's like, well, you're just going to have to wait over there on the bench. And that's when he leans in and goes, I'll be back, and walks out. I can't do a very good Arnold impression.
No, you're
good. That's the best I can do. So he walks out and he gets in his car, and I love it shows the cop behind the desk first before it then pans to the doors and the car just driving through, and it takes his desk and just pushes him into the wall.
Yes.
Oof. He's
going
to have a major stomach ache after that one.
He has a different vehicle than he had earlier in the movie.
Yep.
Because he stole like a Nova now.
He's a cool guy now.
He's got that silver Nova black hood.
Yeah.
It's clean Nova.
Cool guy.
Yeah.
So this is where we get the shootout in the police station. The Terminator's just walking down the hallways. He's getting shot, but he's also just wasting all these cops. He shoots the chief there, or whatever, Traxler, and Lance Hendrickson comes out with his gun, and it doesn't show him die, but you kind of assume that he gets wasted.
Yeah, he gets lit the fuck up.
Yeah. And this is when the cop that's like watching Reese walk, like opens the door to see, hey, what's going on in here? And then Lance Hendrickson was like, keep an eye on him, and runs away. And then as the guy shuts the door, he turns around and Reese just knocks him out.
Yeah.
Takes his keys, takes the cuffs off, gets all of his stuff back, and then he's got to go get Sarah. So this is the Terminator continues his rampage. He's taking everybody out. Kyle takes Sarah out of the police station. The Terminator tries to stop him, but he can't do it. And they drive off. This is a Gremlin, right? That's the car they was driving.
Yeah, I steal a Gremlin. Yes, sir.
So they're driving down the road, and the car runs out of gas. So they go, "Hey, let's push this off the road," and don't push it off the road.
Yeah.
They don't even push it. They're like, "We need to push the car off the road," and then immediately just walk away.
Right.
It doesn't even cut to them walking. It's just like, we need to push the car off the road. Start walking into the woods. You know? Wait a second.
It'll be fine.
So that car is just sitting on the side of the road still. All right, cool. So yeah, they walk down under a bridge, and it's really cold. But somehow it's May in California, but it's really cold. I was like, all right, sure. So Sarah decides she's going to bandage Kyle up because he's bleeding. And while she's doing it, she tells Kyle to tell her story. And he tells her more about John. She doubts her involvement with this whole thing. She's like, how can it be me? How can I be the woman, the mother of the future? The mother of the person who's going to save everything. So she's just in a bit of a shock. She's kind of figuring everything out. She just doesn't understand. And Kyle pretty much tells her, like, yeah, the future is rough. Like, in a few years, everything you see is going to be gone. So we need to figure this shit out. We got to prevent your death, because if you die, it's just going to get worse.
I like it even at this time, even specifies like they don't even know who started the nuclear war. Like, and they could easily have like Russia, because it's still Cold War at this time. So, but no, they're just like, we have no idea who started it.
Yeah. Yeah, while he's telling the story, it shows I say flashback, but it's not really a flashback. If he went to the past, it would be a flash forward.
Oh.
Where it shows a really, really rough situation. Kyle, like, kind of, this was, I think, the scene where Kyle is fighting with the tank thing. He throws the grenade under the tracks. It blows up the tank Terminator. And then he hops in the car, right, and drives away, like, really fast. And the car actually flips too.
No, that's a different scene. That was well, maybe that is part. I think the car scene was earlier, but I know the one with the tank tread was about midway through the movie. This is where he shows it back at the base or whatever.
Right, and he's walking around, and everybody is just they got the German Shepherd there. They're the Terminator detection dogs.
Yep.
So he's walking through, and you see, like, everybody's dirty and hungry, and it's rough down there. You got two people. You got a mother and daughter watching TV. The best thing on TV down there is just fire. Just watching the fire.
Yep.
Kyle stares at a picture of Sarah until a Terminator breaks into the lair and lays waste to everyone. And that Terminator was played by another Mr. Was it Mr. Universe?
I think so, yes.
Franco Columbo, who was a good friend of Arnold Schwarzenegger's, and so he was able to persuade the production, to cast him as another Terminator. I was like, well, you got me as a Terminator. Probably should have a guy of similar stature play another one. So
yeah, absolutely.
He comes in with the minigun and just lays waste to everybody down there.
Yes.
We drowned.
Kyle drops the picture into the fire. No, not the picture of Sarah. Sarah and Kyle the next morning move along. The Terminator searches for a possible location of Sarah. And boy, we get more of those really wonky face effects where he is. I don't even remember what he was actually doing. Is he, like, looking in a mirror or something?
Yeah, I don't remember why they were doing that. Like, what?
Was this with the Was this with the cleaning guy?
Yeah.
Or
He's like,
whatever?
hey, he's like, you all right in there? Like, he asks about cleaning or something. He's just like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, because he, like, searches through possible responses or whatever.
Yeah.
He looks like You ever watch Aqua Team Hunger Force?
Yep.
He looks like that guy. I can't remember his
Carl?
name. Yes, he looks
Their
like
neighbor?
Carl.
Yeah.
The janitor guy. Yeah. First thing that popped into my head.
That's great. I didn't think about that.
So Kyle and Sarah get a hotel room. And I thought it was really cool. They got the German Shepherd that was outside the hotel, and Kyle kind of interacts with it. That was James Cameron's actual dog.
Oh, cool.
And he goes, Sarah needs to take a shower, so she takes a shower, and Kyle's like, I'm going to go get some supplies. And while he's gone, Sarah talks to her mom on the phone. And unfortunately, it's not her mom. The Terminator gets to her mom first, kills her. You would guess. You don't see a body.
No, just
the cabin's ransacked.
Mm-hmm.
And so she pretty much tells her mom where she is, or who she thinks is her mom. And so Kyle comes back with all the supplies, and he teaches her how to make bombs or whatever these like pipe bombs.
Yeah, it's made with plastic explosive. He calls it plastique.
Yeah,
it's plastic explosives inside the pipe bomb.
And they get to the whole thing about how like this is never going to end because you can't. This thing is so hard to kill.
Yeah.
That it's just going to keep coming for you until we destroy it somehow. So Sarah asks about if there's any women in the future that like he had a thing for, and he's like, nah. And he pretty much tells her he's a virgin. He's never done anything. And that's when he explains how the reason he volunteered was that he was in love with her. And he wanted to personally be the one to save her. Because he always had a thing for her. Because she was a legend.
Yep. The lady in the picture.
And that's when we get the sexy time. And boy, it is, it's, you get it. I don't remember seeing this much, but I was like, all right, Linda Hamilton.
Yep. At the very end of it, Kyle looks at Sarah dead in the eyes and says, "Come with me if you want to live." And da 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 da. And that's and then the scene cuts. We go to the next.
It's funny though. It's like the first time she's known this guy for how long? Not even a day, and she just lets him go inside for the first try.
She's like, fuck it.
Like, and that's what she did. Yeah. Okay.
They just skip past the first date.
Yeah, right. To each their own, right? They're getting chased by a Terminator for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's when she got her cream cheese. So carry on.
Oh, the Terminator is en route. Oh, okay. I guess he's here. It's really quick. And I love.
What was that sex scene?
Yeah. I have to say the same thing.
Gary, I'm sorry. Carry on. I'll stop. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
So Kyle literally walks up to this truck and GTA yoinks this guy right out of the just opens the door. It was literally like playing GTA. And then we get the video game music after, so it fits perfectly.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I said that same thing. I was like, they just GTA'd this guy.
So we get another high-speed chase. This is the third one of the movie. Kyle starts tossing the bombs, and then he gets shot. And this one's pretty bad. Sarah knocks the Terminator off of his bike, but ends up flipping the truck that they're in the process. And I love that the Terminator's kind of just laying there, and he starts to get up like, I'm gonna get you. And then a fucking tractor trailer truck is like, whoosh, and you just see him just get hit and just dragged under the truck.
Pretty really drawn out scene of him like getting dragged underneath that truck too. It's pretty cool.
So he gets up really, really fast because the tractor trailer truck driver, he gets out and to check on. He's like, oh shit, I just fucking killed somebody. And the Terminator comes in and just murks him.
Oh yeah.
Murks the other guy that was driving with him.
No, actually, no.
Oh no, the other guy just left, right? Because he said, get out.
Like, yeah, it's like, I ain't gonna argue.
And excuse you.
Sorry.
The Terminator takes the truck And it's one of those moments where it's like, oh my God, he's going to run him over. But at the last second, they get out.
Yeah.
And it takes out the truck. The Terminator gives chase. I don't know how they're outrunning this truck. It's beyond me. Beyond me. He is hauling ass in this thing. And they're like, and you got Kyle just dragging up, just dragging his leg. And she's like, get up, stop. We're going to die.
His liver is just hanging out like, I'll be fine.
And Kyle decides, he goes, hey, you got to keep running. Keep him distracted. So she keeps running. He keeps chasing her. Somehow she's outrunning the truck still. And he shoves one of the pipe bombs into the truck and it blows up.
Yeah, it's like a gas truck too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's an oil rig.
Fucking goes.
And it just it goes up big time. Woo! And yeah, Sarah, everything's on fire and they're like, he's dead. Yay. And then Sarah sees Kyle, so they embrace. So like, yay, we're alive. And then the Terminator just rises from the fucking ashes. But he's just the robot now. He's just the cyborg. No skin, nothing left. Which I love the look of the T-800 without the skin on it.
Yep.
And he gives chase. And they're like, we got to run in this building. And this thing does not look like it can move very fast.
Yeah, it's kind of limping.
Yeah. And yet it's kind of keeping up. I mean, I know Kyle's kind of limping too, but it's like, okay. I don't like the design of its foot.
Oh,
it's like a ball at the heel, but it's not like it's like it's a heel. Like a high heel. It's weird.
Yeah.
So the hallway scene is cool where they're running down the hall and then the Terminator's is kind of like limping down the hall. And I love the effect of the Terminator. It's until they get to the doors and they open the doors to shut it on the Terminator. You could see the green screen. You could see it. Like you could see the edges and it was like, oh God. E.T.
Especially that.
Flashbacks. Oh no.
Yeah, that scenes and then the stop motion or another scene where it's like, stop motion kind of stands out movie back in the days.
But it looked really fucking cool.
Yeah,
I really love stop motion. He ends up catching them. He slaps Kyle around until Kyle shoves the last pipe bomb into the chest, and he tries to dive away, but it blows up and Kyle's dead.
Yeah.
And you think the Terminator's dead, but guess what? You might have blown up my legs, but my torso's still good. And somehow Sarah can't outrun the fucking torso of this thing. She's like, crawling along. She crawls into this press. That's right.
Yeah, she got that piece of metal.
She had the piece of metal. She pulls it out. Yeah, you're right. My mistake, Sarah. Sorry. So we get a crawling chase now. Yeah. So we get the crawling chase. She starts crawling through a press. And this is a really cool scene, though, where she gets to the end of it and the Terminator reaches its hand out and is trying to grab her and she's trying to locate the button to lower the press. And it looks like it's choking her out. And then she finally presses the button and it lowers and you can see the whole body just kind of getting squished by the press until till the red of its eye goes out.
So fucking cool, dude.
It's really, really cool. And her line before she does it is, "You're terminated, fucker."
Yeah.
Which is really, really good line.
Gotta get that one-liner in, baby.
Yeah. Yep. And she gets sent to the hospital. She sees Kyle get zipped up in the body bag. Sad times. And we then move on to the final scene where Sarah's pregnant. She's driving in a Jeep. She's in Mexico, I think. And she's recording tapes telling her story and it's tapes for John to listen to when he's older, so that she tells him about Kyle being the father. Well, she says that she's going to tell him about Kyle and all that stuff. And I love the kid who's like hustling her. The kid takes the picture of her and he's like, he says something in Spanish and he's like, what did he say? And the guy's like, oh, he needs to sell a bunch of this or he's going to get beat when he gets home by his dad.
Yeah.
And it's like $5. And it's like $5? How about $4? He's like, yeah, sure. He's like, yeah, good job, kid. Good hustle, kid.
Yep.
And then she drives away into the stormy future that definitely wasn't a matte painting or anything.
Oh, no, not at all.
Which is fine. I'm okay with that. Okay with that. It's the 80s, remember. And that's it. That's The Terminator. You get the awesome theme playing over the credits.
Yes, sir.
And it just gets me really excited to sit down and watch Terminator 2.
Yes. That's next.
But that is it. That is Terminator, The Terminator from 1984. What are our final thoughts on this movie before we talk of our about what's coming up? 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Great movie.
Thumbs up.
Outside of the go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying I recommend it.
Yes.
Outside of a few shots of dated, dodgy special effects, for the most part, it's a really good movie. So it flows good. It keeps you out of the loop about what's going on, which is great in the beginning because, like you talked about earlier, you don't know if Kyle's a bad guy or not. Just
right.
2 people from the fucking lightning magic. So
see, this is one of those where it leaves you out in a good way.
Yeah. Like I talked about, you don't need to explain everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you get most of it explained anyway later, but like early on, you don't know what's going on.
Performances are really good. I really like the story. I mean, it's a very simplistic story if you think about it.
It is.
But it's just well done. It's very well done. And I mean, this was the start of James Cameron, so we can thank the Terminator.
It had
what we're gonna get.
It had a high class like slasher vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Like it had a slasher feel to it, but not like a low budget movie. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, this is considered a sci-fi movie, but I could definitely put this in the horror category because, like, the Terminator is a scary dude. Like, you see him, you know shit's about to go down. And, you know, the scenes of him operating on himself and, you know, seeing him as the cyborg and the way that Arnold was able to be emotionless throughout the entire thing. There was no, his facial expression was the same from start to finish.
Yep.
So
he's just there to kill some folk.
And I'm very excited to watch Terminator 2 because Terminator 2, I have not seen it in quite a while, but I can guarantee it still holds up. I mean, people still, I swear I'm on Twitter every day, and there's always a post I see someone talk about Terminator 2. It's considered one of the greatest sequels of all time, so okay, it's got to be good, right?
Absolutely.
So next week, as we were just talking about, we will be covering Terminator 2. But the week after that, we're going to be taking a slight break from the Terminator franchise because we got some special guests coming on for episode 61. We got Joe Lascola and Sean O'Rourke from Movie Dumpster to join us to talk about a little movie that celebrated its 25th anniversary this year about screaming snakes called Anaconda.
Yes. Excited for that.
So excited. Not just to talk about Anaconda, but to have the guys from Movie Dumpster on because I'm a huge fan of Movie Dumpster. Been listening to them for quite a while. And to be able to have them on the show is truly something I didn't imagine happening so soon. But it's happening, and I couldn't be more excited about it. So make sure to tune in for that. But and also, we're getting close to the end of the month, so we are going to try to plan our June end of month live stream where we're going to be talking about all the podcasts that we've done this past month, all the podcasts we got planned for the future. And yeah, just like we did last time, probably just having a conversation about whatever the fuck comes popping into our head. So,
yes, absolutely. Those are the best.
We'll have that planned out and we'll let you all know when we're going to do that. Probably, I mean, what's that? Not this coming week, but maybe next week is when we'll do the live stream because the next week will be the end of June. So next Friday, maybe. We'll figure it out and we'll let you all know. But other than that, I want to thank everybody for listening to the show, watching the show, however you consume the show. I appreciate all the support. Make sure to leave us comments on any of the podcast services you guys listen to us on. I love reading people's comments. And also really appreciate people leaving comments on our YouTube videos of the show. Greatly appreciate that.
Yep.
Make sure if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Good Pods to rate us 5 stars and leave us a review if you can. If you listen or if you watch us on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. We're trying to get some people onto the YouTube channel. So let's so make sure if you watch the video, just drop that like, drop that sub. It doesn't hurt you. It's free.
No, not at all.
It's
just
free.
Click. It's just a click.
But until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming. We are Dissect That Film. This has been Dissect That Film Podcast, episode 59. We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Go watch Jurassic Park 3 review.
Got it.